Hi friends! Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Craig, you were the first comment of the broadcast. If y'all don't know, I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, and once a week I do a little recap of the Survivor episode for the week, so when Survivor's on. So last night we had a new episode of Survivor Season 40, Winners at War, and I'm here to talk about it. And I'm also waiting for pizza to come, so pizza's probably going to come during this broadcast, and I'm going to try to talk pretty fast. And I always talk fast, so it's going to get crazy. Craig, thank you for the super hearts. That is a great way to help me to keep this channel going. I just realized that I did not update this list before going live, so it might be a little outdated. But thank you guys for every single one of you who supports this channel. I know Maverick's not on this list yet, maybe a couple other people, so I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it until this very moment. These are the people who have supported over the last 30 days, roughly. And thank you for everyone who makes this channel possible. Hey Sarah. Hey Matt, thanks for inviting your followers. Lex said, hurry up! Hey Tracy, hi Dan, hi Trudy, hi Hayden, hi. Oh, because this is my, well, this is what I actually look like. So this is my Logitech Brio camera, which actually is 4K resolution, but Periscope doesn't allow that, and I don't think it works well. Actually, I don't think my computer can handle 4K resolution live streaming. Suleiman, hi. Yes, pizza. Hayden, thank you for the super hearts. Trudy, thank you for the super hearts. Within 3 weeks, 3 weeks, I lost my entire draft list. Bradley, why didn't you consult me on this? Did you get to choose who was in your list? Because if you chose the person last night, I don't even understand why, because I don't even feel like... All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First things first. The name of the episode is I Like Revenge, and it's a webcam. It's a webcam, USB. And the person who was quoted with this during last night's episode was Sandra, and she said, I like revenge, but I like $2 million even more. So I really like that. I love Sandra's energy. I feel like she is just so fun to watch. She's won Survivor 2 times before. She's the only person in the history of the show Survivor to ever win twice. So she's already won $2 million from the game. And now she's up to win another $2 million because whoever wins this season wins $2 million. If she doesn't win, then someone else is going to be tied with her for having won Survivor twice, and that's just not as fun as just one person. So let's hope that she wins again, but also I actually want Yule to win because that's who my money is on. She really must be a fan favorite. Sandra? Yeah, I bet she is. She's up there. Is Parvati my favorite? Nah. Love you, Parvati, but no. I know, Brie, I know. So that's who my boyfriend wanted to win, so he's really upset. Anybody but her. Who, Parvati or Sandra? I don't care. You know, whoever wins deserves it. Let's go with that. Go Wendell. Wendell gets like no airtime. He's the first episode he did, but this was the 4th episode, week 4, called I Like Revenge. It started out showing the aftermath of Saleh's tribal council last week when Ethan went home, which was an excellent play executed by Michelle, Jeremy. Let me look at my notes from last week. Who's on that tribe? Where is it? Denise and Ben. Michelle, Jeremy, Denise, and Ben. The 4 of them successfully voted out Ethan out of a tribe of 8. So only half of the tribe voted him out, but that's because they knew Adam was going to vote for Parvati, and they also knew, probably, that all 3, Parvati, Rob, and Ethan, were all going to vote for Adam. So it was an excellently executed plan. Got Ethan out. Love Ethan, but it was a really, really good way to do it. So everyone was kind of shocked. Not everyone. The 4 of them weren't. They knew what was happening. Adam was shocked, Rob was shocked, and Parvati was shocked. So I want to talk about this for a moment because this puts the 3 of them at the bottom of the tribe. But what's interesting is that Adam was trying to play both sides, and he acknowledged that he knew that he messed up. He said, you know, I don't know why I had all this hubris to think that I could do all these things in Survivor that you're not supposed to do. If you're trying to blindside someone, you don't tell someone in their alliance that you're trying to blindside them. He told both Ethan and Rob that they were going to try to blindside Parvati because he wanted to still be able to potentially work with them going forward, which just got back to everyone else, which made them feel like he was working both sides, which he was. Everybody knows. So Adam really kicked his butt in high gear, and if you watch my replay from last week, you'll see that I said The only way that Adam can play this is to just kiss everyone's butt like crazy, and that's what he did. He was working really hard around camp. He went to each person individually and said, "I'm so sorry." He did tell Rob and Parvati that he was not going to work with them, but Rob decided to go tell everyone else that Adam was trying to work with them, and he keeps coming up to them, and he keeps trying to figure something out, and he doesn't want to have any part of that, to try to get the heat on Adam and off of he and Parvati. But that's not going to matter so much because of what's happening next week, which we'll get to in a moment. So I actually thought that even at first I was like, oh, Adam is just going to go back to the alliance that he had. He's not going to work with Rob and Parvati. But as I thought more about it, I thought, I really think that might make sense for him. If he works with Rob and Parvati, those are two huge targets. Those are meat shields. He's not going to get targeted before those two, even after a merge. And all they would need to do is swing one other person, like a Jeremy, which I think actually they could probably swing Jeremy. Or Michelle. I think they could actually swing Michelle as well. Denise and Ben, I really think that I don't know if they could swing Denise, but I feel like they could swing possibly Ben, although Ben is really in good cahoots with Denise at this point because of the idol, and Adam is in on that as well. So they have a pretty strong alliance. We'll kind of see what happens because next week everything gets changed up. Tracy, thank you for the super hearts. Then they switched over to the other team, Dakal, the Red Tribe, and Yule was talking, I love Yule, I hope you win. Yule was talking about how he, Nick, Wendell, and Sophie have the strongest alliance. But because they keep winning, everyone's just happy, everyone's in a good mood, everyone's buddy-buddy, everyone's friends with everyone, because they haven't really had to vote anyone out, so the lines haven't really been drawn in the proverbial sand to see who's on what side and who's with who. So that's been pretty good for them. May or may not have changed last night. We'll get there. So then they switched over to the Edge of Extinction, and that was probably my favorite part of last night's episode. I loved Sandra's airtime on last night's episode, but I really loved Edge of Extinction. So it was a whole new way of doing this. So the way that they've been able to earn fire tokens on Edge of Extinction before last night was pretty straightforward. You basically sold something, an advantage or an idol, to someone on the main island, and you got their fire token in exchange for it. Well, last night, new fire tokens were added into the game. So rather than earning fire tokens from somebody still in the game on the main island, they actually were just given 4 opportunities to win fire tokens, or each person was given the opportunity to earn 1 fire token. So 4 new fire tokens potentially would be added to the game if each person was able to complete this very, very, what do they call it, tremendous task that requires tremendous effort, where they had to climb up these steps. We've seen them go up these steps in previous episodes, but they had to go up to the top of these steps over all these rocks and all this craziness, and there's a pile of wood with each one of them has a pile of wood with their name on it. Remember, the 4 people on Edge of Extinction are now Ethan, Amber, Natalie, and Danny, okay? So each of them has a pile of wood. There's 20 pieces of wood in their pile, and they have to carry each piece of wood down and put it next to their fire 1 piece at a time. That's right, 1 piece at a time. So that's 20 trips to up and down these massive steps. I don't think we could fully grasp the height and difficulty of going up and down these steps, and they're pretty narrow, so they couldn't really go past each other. It was just kind of like this grueling all-day kind of effort. They had to go up and down the steps 20 times, grab a piece of wood each time, and put it down. Now, what I didn't realize is that Natalie, who I love so much, she was a badass, Greg. She was the first one to get up in the morning and go grab the box with the challenge in it, which was great. I like to see that. And she was, well, let's say, so the way this works is if you got your entire pile of wood and stacked next to the fire down at camp before sundown, then you get a fire token. So it's a lot of work for 1 fire token, which Natalie appreciates because she has gotten all of the fire tokens on Edge of Extinction prior to this. Thank you, Greg, for the super hearts. And she only had to sell things. All she had to do was decide who she was going to sell these items to. One time she had to do the shells, right? She had to figure out the number combination from the shells and then go up and do the combination and then sell the item. So that was a little bit more work, but nothing like this. I mean, this was extreme physical effort required. And I first said, oh, Natalie's gonna beast this because she's so strong, and I've seen her like on Twitter, these little clips of her at the gym, and I've seen her butt and I've seen her legs, and I'm like, this girl is just like, she's just a powerhouse, and these steps have her name written all over them. She's gonna kill it. But then I was like, well, Ethan is like a professional soccer player. I don't know if he still plays at that level, but he's an athletic person, and he loves soccer, and he probably has some pretty strong legs too. So I wasn't sure how that was gonna go out. Okay, I love you, Michael. Yeah, I'll see you later. Natalie is a beast. I love her too. I was so excited. I said to Ed, I'm like, how can you not love this girl? Ed, for some reason, thinks Natalie is so annoying. Ed is my boyfriend. Natalie, don't let this reflect poorly on me. I thought about breaking up with him the first time he said it, but, you know, our love runs pretty deep. Okay, bye. Robinson. So in Sweden, there's a show called Robinson, which is apparently like Survivor. Thanks for sharing that with me, Enzaman. So what I found out, Ethan shared this in one of his little confessionals, is that Natalie is actually a CrossFit trainer. So not only is she just a beast, that's what she does for a living. She's a CrossFit trainer, one of the most intense exercise regimens that I've ever heard of in my life. So that makes a lot of sense. I realized, okay, she's a complete beast. They said that, you know, it's like a marathon, right? You go up these steps, you get the log, you walk it back. You go up, you walk it back. You go up, you walk it back. And Amber kept saying slow and steady, because a lot of people who run marathons, they fail to finish the marathon because they push way too hard. They're sprinting. They're trying to get as far as they can, as fast as they can, and they can't keep up that pace, and they end up not being able to finish the race. So you just want to keep a steady, consistent pace and go slow. Take breaks. Take your time. It's a long one. Well, hey TRC, don't give up. Do not give up. So if these people can do what we saw them do last night, you can get through what it is that you're dealing with. And all for one fire token. You know, Danny made a funny joke. She said, they all said this is one of the hardest things they've ever done in their lives. And Danny said, I want to liken it to childbirth, but like after childbirth, at least you get a baby. She's like, with this, you get a fire token. Not exactly the same reward. So it was a very, very hard challenge for a somewhat trivial level of reward, which I thought was really funny. It definitely made me laugh. So I think I was in the middle of saying something else. Oh, but what they all commented on was that Natalie did not slow down or seemingly take any rests or breaks the whole time. She just kept up the same pace. You see this girl running. She is running across the beach back to the stairs. I mean, she just like has this level of endurance that is superhuman. You know, hey Mark, hey Dale. She's just like going for it, balls to the wall, super inspiring, super motivating. Just like today I was running on the treadmill earlier. I was live on Periscope and I said, oh, right now I'm just thinking about Natalie in last night's episode of Survivor. Just go. If she could do that, I could definitely run for 15 minutes, which is all I did earlier, which was really a bit amusing to me, but it really did help motivate me to keep going. So that was really cool. What was interesting is at the end of her, so she was the first to finish. Natalie was the first to finish. At the end, she just started crying. She went into the ocean and she had an emotional release. And she said the whole time she was moving the logs, she wasn't thinking about anything. She was just focused on the task at hand. But as soon as she finished, it's like it all hit her. You know, probably the physical pain, the emotion of it all, just being in the game Survivor in general, being filmed at your, you know, highest and weakest points, being stranded on the edge of extinction, which she was actually the first person voted out this season, and she has been there the longest, so she's had the least amount of food. You don't get reward challenges on Edge of Extinction, so there's no way to have food. She has fire tokens, so she probably has this temptation every day to spend these fire tokens on food, because you can use them to buy like pizza and beer and wine and I forget, like burgers or something. Like you can buy food with it, but you can also buy advantages and idols and things that are more useful in the actual game in terms of winning as opposed to having strength. It's kind of this constant balance. So she probably has all this mental turmoil going on, you know. And then and it's even the popularity aspect, you know, like you were the first person voted off, like you're the first person everyone wanted off the island. I mean, that's tough. So oh my god, Dale, that is crazy. Yeah, that was probably at least how many steps they took on this. Would I go on Survivor? I would. I don't know if I would pass whatever kind of physical requirements you need, though, because I'm very small. So I'm only 5'1" and I weigh about 105 pounds. So I'm probably not really built for that level of physical stress. But if they wanted me to go on, I'd give it a shot. Give it my best. So second person to finish was actually Amber. Amba, we have to say it the way Boston Rob says it, her husband, which was really impressive. I have to say, like, I definitely underestimated her. I didn't think that she was even going to finish, if I'm honest with you guys. And not only did she finish, but she came in second only to Natalie. You know, she beat the other two. I was like, damn, girl, okay, I see you, Amba. Yeah, so that was awesome. But she had the same reaction. She finished, she put that last log down, and then she started crying. Emotional releases. Really interesting to see that happen. Third to finish was Danny. So Danny didn't have any emotional, negative emotional release. She comes in with her last log, freaking like shoulder pressing it over her head. She goes, I feel like Rocky. She like slams it down. That was awesome. That made me really happy. And then Ethan was last. So everyone finished before sundown. They all got a fire token. So 4 fire tokens were added into the game last night, which adds another level of complexity here. But we stand Ethan, yes. Yeah, that was, I teared up a little bit with the situation with Ethan. So what happened was he was going and he was getting very faint and very weak, and you could see him. He was really struggling. His legs didn't want to hold up. His arm, like he was sitting down, leaning on his arm, and even his arm went out from under him. I mean, he was collapsing virtually. And what ended up happening, hey, Brad, what ended up happening was medical actually came in and said, you know, do you feel faint? And he was like, yeah, I feel constantly faint. She's like, all right, well, if you just keep going up and down these stairs, it's not going to make it any better. That feeling's not going to go away. You're going to continue to feel faint. So they basically like forced him to rest. They encouraged him strongly to rest. He rested for a while. They said, okay, I don't know if maybe they gave him water or maybe even something else, and said, okay, how are you feeling now? He's like, yeah, I feel better. And she's like, all right, take it easy. It's really important that you rest. So they actually intervened a little bit, and it was, you know, everyone was kind of like walking past him with the logs. It was a little bit awkward. You know, you could see he felt, your ego is a part of you, right? So I know, like, we don't want to have gender play any kind of role here, but he's the only guy there, and the girls are all doing better than him. And I've seen that a lot with survivors. Like, these females, a lot of times they have this very powerful endurance. So they might not be as physically strong, like they can't necessarily lift up something as heavy as the big guys can, but they seem to have more endurance. Like, the endurance challenges, they seem to perform a little better than the men on average, and especially like a big muscular man or something, I would think. That's just something I noted. I have no idea if it's based in fact or statistics at all. That's just what it seemed like to me. But as a man, I would imagine that you might feel a little bit like, oh, like these girls are going past me and I just want to keep going, you know, so you push yourself maybe a little harder than you would if it was just you, and you could kind of like, you know, give yourself some breaks. So potentially that's just my own opinion, my own, like, I'm adding that on. They didn't mention anything about that in the episode. Well, not everybody's a farmer, Dale. So I think when he did finish on his last log, everyone went up with him. So Amber, Natalie, Danny, they all walked up the mountain with him and back down. And even talk about it right now, I feel like my eyes are going to start watering. It was just really cool to see that just human connection. You know, they're expending energy they don't need to expend. You know, this game, you want to conserve energy. You're not eating a lot and you're expending huge amounts of energy for these physical challenges. And you could just lay there and wait for him to come back, but instead they all got together, they all went up with him, they all came down. It was just like very moving, very touching, and very much like not a game move, because only one of these people is going to win back into the game. So there's really no strategic benefit in building alliances with these people that aren't in the game anymore, assuming they don't end up on the jury, which I doubt they will. So really it was just out of like the goodness of their hearts, just out of having empathy for a person who you saw struggle so much, and now you've been laying down here relaxing and resting while he keeps going and going and going. He's on his last one. You're gonna go with him. You know, it was really cool. I thought that was really awesome. So that made my eyes water up then, and a little bit now too. So they all got a fire token, which caused a shift. Now Ethan, Danny, and Amber each have 1 fire token. Last week they had 0, and Natalie now has 4. So she remains the richest in the game. She now has 4 fire tokens, which is 2 times the number of fire tokens of the next person down in the list, and we'll get to that in a moment. So then it kind of went to this like interaction between Sarah and Tyson. Like Sarah and Tyson were almost flirting. I don't know, maybe I'm just putting that out there. They were having a lot of fun. Like it was fun to, and I don't know, maybe they're married. I don't mean to. It was just a very cool friendship. Like they were just being very playful, and to me that's how I flirt. Is like I want to like be playful. So it was cool to see that, and I was like, ooh, they're a little like showman starting to build here. This is interesting. They're like making these funny jokes and having a good time, and that was just the whole vibe of the DeCall tribe. Was just like fun, laid back, no tribal councils, winning all these rewards and challenges and immunities, and it was just like a really good energy, good vibes, you know. Hello, Mo Money Mohos. I think I should prep them for a month. I think it's just about pretty people. A lot of them are pretty good looking, I'd say, yeah. Last time they did this twist, everyone that didn't quit was on the jury. Oh, really, Brett? I did not remember that. Thank you. That was a really valuable piece of input. So in a way, it is also a strategic game move then if these people have the potential to land on the jury. I was wondering if they were just going to put like everyone on the jury, but I think they put them all on the jury last time? Interesting. But then everyone that was voted out after they brought that one person back was just gone for good, right? Do you remember how many people were left when they brought the person back from Edge of Extinction when Chris came back? Hey, John. Your ego, yes. Yeah, you're 6 foot, 200 pounds. You're definitely built for Survivor. You should apply to be on there, Dale. I don't know who's going to watch your farm for you, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You go to Fiji, and you could win $1 million, so I'm just putting that out there. Do it for me, okay? I'm not strong enough, so do it. Hey, Chris. Do it in my honor. Then I just wrote that I love me some Sandra. I know I already kind of said that already, but just the way she's like listening to, she has this face, right? She's always like listening very intently. Tyson's telling her, listen, we got to get these disconnected people out of the game. They're coming after us because we're connected. I'm connected to Kim. You know, Sandra, Tony, and Sarah, you guys are connected. I have connections to Rob and Parvati, which is stupid. Tyson, don't remind everyone of the connections that you have. Like, that's just making you a bigger target, but whatever, you know, I can't control him. You know, so we got to get these other people out. We got to go for them. They're coming for us. We got to go for them. Sandra's like, not all right. She's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes as long as it's not me. The first time she said that, I was like, yes. Because that's just classic Sandra. Like, she says that, oh, the sun's starting to set, so I'm getting a little bit of a shadow, but bear with me. Every single season that she's played in, that is her line every time. I don't care. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll go with whatever as long as it's not me. That is her number one strategy. And Tyson even said that at Tribal Council because DeCall did not win the immunity challenge. Let me just close my blinds real quick because it's just going to get worse and worse as the sunset. And it's going to distract me and probably you guys too. So bear with me here. They're gonna sway for a minute, but it'll chill out soon. All right. So, so she's listening to Tyson talk about who they need to get out and why and blah, blah, blah. And she looks really, okay, yeah, she's very convincing. So this made me realize, you know, Sandra is really good at this game. She's not physically talented for the game, but her social strategy and just strategy in general is really, really strong. So she's like, she says in her confessional, yeah, vertical blinds, you got it. Hey man, I forget your name. What do they call you? What do they call you? Why do I want to say Newt? I feel like it's not Newt. What does Lizzie call you again? So she's listening, and then she has this little confessional where she's like, yeah, you know, Tyson's telling me all this stuff, and I'm just listening like, oh, dang, really? You know, when she said it, like, why? Like, it's just like, oh my god, Neo. Then I'm just, you know, she's like totally blown away. This is amazing information, totally great. She's totally on board with him. But in the meantime, she's remembering, dude, you were targeting me just a few days ago, and you're not going to get away with that. And she's been saying that, right, for the last episode or 2 episodes, that if you come for me, I better not find out about it because you're going to pay. So that was a lot of fun to watch. Tyson, meanwhile, wanted to target Yul, which is my dude. I'll come for you too. Sophie, Nick, and Wendell. these people are a little bit newer players. Yule not as much, but they're kind of disconnected. They're not really like networked into these other people that are playing the game. They don't have a lot of connections in the game. So he thought those were the people that should be targeted, which I thought was kind of stupid. And it kind of shows that he's not really like, first of all, why do you want to target the easiest people? Like, why not target the bigger targets? And just a few days ago, you were targeting Sandra, which is an obvious target. So why are you now switching and trying to work with Sandra? This is just going to make no one want to work with you because you don't have a solid plan here. You don't have like a solid alliance that you're sticking with. Doesn't seem like he has an alliance at all. Maybe with Kim, but who really knows? So I did notice when they got to the immunity challenge, I don't know if you guys noticed, that the immunity idol has fire tokens for eyes. I don't know if they're actually fire tokens or if they're just like doubloons or something, but they look like fire tokens in the eyes of the skull, which I thought was kind of cool. Yes, Noah, I got this. This turtleneck was actually a gift from one of my viewers, Rory, who got it for me off my Amazon wish list. So thanks, Rory. I appreciate that a lot. You'd rather do it on your own. Yeah, that's probably not going to work in Survivor then. Soap operas. I'm interested in anthropology, yeah. The challenge was epic. I would use a woman for their smarts. Okay. All right, so what was interesting, okay, before it even started, Sandra volunteered to sit out because DeCall has 2 more players than Sealy, and they had to sit 2 people out. So Tony sat out, but Sandra raised, I think the pizza's here. She raised her hand. Ed, is the pizza here? She raised her hand, and she's like, me, and Parvati goes, oh, Jeff, are you gonna rename the bench the Sandra bench? And Sandra was like, I like that name. And again, I feel like Sandra is very good at this game. I felt like that was a jab. What do you guys think? Those of you guys who watched it, Parvati doesn't have like the best social tact. I feel like she definitely comes off a little like a mean girl, and I'm sure she's a very nice person, but that's kind of like how it came across to me, is like a little bit of a jab, like, oh, Sandra's always sitting out, and then she had to like say something that she couldn't just bite her tongue, control herself. She had to say, oh, we should rename the bench the Sandra bench because she's often sits out because Sandra's not really physically strong. And Sandra went, oh, I really like that, and Jeff was kind of like, whoa, he kind of seemed to view it as a jab as well. And Sandra was like, no, she's fine, I don't mind. And then Parvati was like, yeah, she's proud of it. And even in saying that she's proud of it, proud of sitting out, it was just a little bit much for me. I was like, okay, now I don't know if this whole conspiracy... Thank you, Abby. Thank you so much for the super hearts. I've been loving your TikToks. I was watching them last night. I don't know if this whole conspiracy I've been seeing on Twitter about the secret alliance between Rob and Sandra is real or not. But if it's not, which I have a hunch that it's not, then Sandra's not just going for Rob, but she's going for Parvati too. So it just seems like you want to kiss that person's butt when they have more power than you, but who really knows? I have, Dale. I have. Okay. So then, after talking a bunch of smack, she didn't talk a bunch of smack, but after the whole bench comment, Parvati goes up there and cannot get a single key. So they have to climb up this ladder and run off this plank and then jump up and pull a key attached to a buoy down off a piece of wood. So Parvati is trying, and she keeps trying, which is good, because I only saw Denise try once, I think. She didn't get one. Parvati kept trying. She couldn't get any. Adam got all 3 of them, and Adam couldn't get that last one for a while, and he just kept trying. I thought that was really cool. He said that his 8th grade teacher told his mom that when he decides to do something, he makes sure that he gets it done. He does whatever it takes to get it done. So that was pretty cool. Adam, yeah, Gary. So his strategy in the game, he stands very close to people, and he's coming on a bit too strong. Like, he wants to have a lot of control. I wonder if control is like an issue for him outside of the game of Survivor as well, where like if he feels like he's losing control, he kind of loses it a little bit. Like he can't stay calm and poised and kind of sit back and just let the game play. He has to be involved, which puts him in everyone's mind as a potential target, which I don't know if he would have survived last night if they didn't end up winning, which is amazing because they couldn't get the key. So the other team, DeCall gets the 3 keys. I don't even remember who grabbed them. It was like boom, 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 quickly. They get the keys, they go up, they start doing the puzzle. Now, they had Nick and Sarah on the puzzle, and Nick had actually done this puzzle in his season and won. So he had done the puzzle in his season and successfully completed the puzzle before the other team. And last night, the blue Sealy tribe hadn't even started the puzzle. Like, they had such a huge head start. And then, long story short, Sealy ended up winning. Rob and Michelle went up. They beasted the puzzle. Nick couldn't figure out what was going on with the puzzle. It just kind of blew up into smithereens. So it ended up that DeCall had to go to tribal council that evening. So that was a major comeback. And then Tyson said, okay, well, we should go for Nick then, because Nick blew the puzzle, he blew the challenge, so let's just go after him. Kind of a weak argument. Again, I don't mean to just keep criticizing Tyson so much, but I'm not really impressed with, like, his strategy, because alright, this is the 5th person being voted out, right? This is the 5th tribal council. Chances are that there's going to be a switch up soon. There's going to be a tribe swap or some merge, or something's going to come soon. And this is a game of winners at war. This isn't about, oh, who's going to help me win challenges, because you're going to get to individual immunity. You have to see long term. Individual immunity is coming, and you need to be able to win individual immunity. So if you think you can win against Nick, then you keep Nick. Now, if you're worried that he's a physical threat and he's going to win a lot of individual immunities down the road, then you go after him. But if he's weak in a challenge, that actually doesn't make him a target. Not at this level of Survivor. Not at this level of gameplay, in my opinion. So I thought that was kind of a weak call. Every single person in the tribe is like, I'm with it. Let's get Nick out. I'm totally cool with that. Yes. Tyson's like, everyone's on board for this. So easy. And then Kim's kind of like, well, is it too easy? And other people are like, I don't know. Seems like maybe it's too easy. Not so sure. Well, turns out the whole tribe was actually wanting to vote Tyson out. So they were just telling him, yeah, man, Nick. Totally, we're going for Nick. And then they were telling everyone else, no, we're going for Tyson, actually. And even Nick, so in a way, Nick's in a weird spot, because he's like, all right, well, everyone's telling Tyson that it's me, and everyone's telling me that it's Tyson, so how do I know really for sure which one is the legit plan? So what ended up happening at Tribal Council was that Nick voted for Kim because he was worried that Tyson might have an immunity idol. Now, I don't know if that was part of the plan and everyone knew that he was going to do that, but I thought that was interesting. He voted for Kim because he thought, okay, well, if Tyson's not going to go out, then we'll get Kim out because she's probably Tyson's closest ally, and Tyson might have an idol. Now, what's really interesting is that Kim has the idol, we think. So I don't think, and let me know if I'm wrong, that they ever revealed whether or not Sophie gave the half of the idol back to Kim or not. As far as I know, we think that Kim has it, because I think if Sophie refused to give it back, we would have heard more about it. But perhaps just because it hasn't come into play yet, we just don't really know a ton about it. He's a close talker, yeah. Naked and afraid, yeah. Hey, Baker Man. Yes, that's correct, Matt. Yep, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. I'm almost done here. So Nick voted for Kim. Tyson voted for Nick, and every single other person voted for Tyson. So that resulted in this week's vote out of Tyson, which is sad for my boyfriend because that's who he has in our little game, and he really wanted him to win. He really loves Tyson, but the whole episode, he's like, oh, he's so screwed. Oh, that's so stupid. I don't know what he's doing by midnight. And sure enough, Tyson ended up being the one out. Hey there, Beckham, what's up? You're here just at the end. I'm just about to wrap up. I'm gonna, and then, a little bit of a twist. Tyson gave his fire token to Nick. And he said, here's your token from your #1 idol or something. And I didn't hear him say that in the tribal council. They were talking about idols and people they like kind of idolize. Nick was talking about how he used to have a crush on Parvati, and Tyson was rolling his eyes. Like, I really just feel like Tyson was like not gung-ho on Nick, but then he gave him his fire token. Oh, and one thing, Sandra gave Tyson a fist pound during the tribal council, and as soon as she did that, I go, oh, he's gone. That's it. Sandra's like almost mocking him, right? Like, yeah, man, fist pound, and then freaking votes him out. Everyone votes him out. Oh, that was so entertaining to me. So now there's a change in fire tokens with Nick as well. So everyone on Edge of Extinction got 1 more fire token, and then Nick got another as well. So now he has 2, and Tyson has 0. So those are all the changes of fire tokens of last night. An update on where everyone else is at. Denise, Rob, and Parvati have 2, and then Sandra and Sarah both have 0, which means everyone else has 1 that I didn't already mention. So let me recap. Natalie has 4. Nick, Denise, Rob, and Parvati have 2. And then Sandra and Sarah have 0, and everyone else has 1. So, oh, I'm sorry, Tyson also has 0 now. Now, I wanted to also kind of keep track, and let me know if I'm missing anyone. Natalie has 4. So Denise has, I've been keeping track of it each week. There's been 4 episodes, so how could she have more than 4? So, because even in the first episode, I don't remember her selling anything, but she sold an idol to Sandra. She sold the advantage to Sarah. She got a fire token last night, and then what was the other fire token that she got? Oh, and then Jeremy. She sold the advantage to Jeremy. So as far as I have it, I have Denise and Kim both have idols, assuming that Sophie gave back her half. Sandra has the idol that she bought from Natalie, and then Sarah and Jeremy have advantages that they bought from Natalie, which should bring Natalie to a total of 4, but correct me if I'm wrong. I have been tracking it from week to week, but I could have messed something up. No one's brought that to my attention as of yet. Next week, 2 interesting things that they teased on the teaser for next week is, 1, that the tribes are switching, so I assume there's going to be 3 tribes now. And secondly, she didn't already have one, Beckham. You don't have one when you go to Extinction Island, or Edge of Extinction. Sorry, that's Rob calls it Extinction Island. Now I call it that too. You have to give. She gave her token to Jeremy, and then she got it back by selling him the advantage. And before that, she sold the idol to Sandra. Then she sold the advantage to Sarah, and then she just got one for the logs last night. So she has 4. But if you remember something else, please tell me the specific one that she would have more than that. I'm pretty confident that it's 4, but please let me know. Oh yeah, because the first episode, I'm still sticking by what I said, but the first episode was the idol that she sold to Sandra, because it was a 2-hour long episode, so there was 2 tribal councils that night. Alright, so 4 episodes, 4 fire tokens. I'm pretty sure she just has 4. She's gotten a new fire token each week, but she's the richest in the game, but she doesn't have more than 4. She has 4, everyone else has 2, 1, or 0. Okay. The second interesting thing for next week was that Michelle talked about being stranded on an island with her ex-boyfriend, who I meant to Google who the heck that is, but I forgot. Does anybody know? I'm going to look it up right now. So who is it? Is it Nick? Is it Adam? It's Wendell. Michelle Fitzgerald's ex-boyfriend is Wendell Holland. Interesting. Okay, cool, Beckham. I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm glad I didn't miss anything. I was like, I feel like I'm so anal. Like, I have a notebook with all the fire tokens. So each week I go and I check, okay, what's changed? Where's everybody at? All right, cool. So that's good. It does, Jason. Click the word one time or monthly. Thank you, Jason, for trying to support. I appreciate that. Yeah, click the link in my profile, and then the word, so next to like basic $5, you'll see one time or monthly. Click the word of whichever one you want to do. If you do monthly, you get access to my private Periscope group. Michelle dated Wendell, right? So we know that Michelle and Wendell end up on a tribe together. We'll see if that works for them, against them. If they rekindle something, probably not. If they target each other, it's going to be really interesting to see that. So I'm excited, and I'll be back next week to recap episode 5. Survivor, season 40, Winners at War, the 20th anniversary season. And thank you to everyone who makes this channel possible here. Thank you for all the super hearts this broadcast. Tracy, Greg, Trudy, Hayden, Abby, and Craig. I actually think this is one of the best performing Super Heart broadcasts I've had for a Survivor recap. So thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it. I love doing it. And I do go live on Periscope every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. So I will be back later tonight. I have a little bit more content to do. I think I have like about an hour left, maybe a little more than that. Yes, the Tri-Swap's gonna be lit. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, like our Boston Rob and Parvati gonna get split up. Who's Yule gonna end up with? I'm so excited. Okay, Denise, Ben, Adam, everyone. Okay, so tune back next week to see what happens. I hopefully will be able to watch it live with you guys. I like to do a live watch along and then the recap after, but every other week we have the kids, so I can't do it on the weeks we have the kids because we're putting them to bed at that time. But we'll do a watch along hopefully next week and a recap. But otherwise, I'll be back later. I plan to do a meditation, but I have lots of schoolwork to do too, so no promises. But I will be back for about another hour tonight. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. I hope to see you guys on the next juice. It's always so fun to talk about this. Thank you guys who actually watched Survivor for coming in and commenting and helping me remember things and clearing up different questions and stuff. So I appreciate you guys. See you on the next juice.